Creepy. It's still kind of cute.
All right. Just a little scratched.
Thank goodness.
You will soon prostrate yourself at my feet, just like your friend did.
The world is already like Mavolia. What more could you possibly do to it?
The echoes are not yet completely free. We need the seed from your right hand, and the aid of that spirit child. Even now, the great tree struggles to thwart the release of the echoes. However, I should be able to persuade it once I have the seed the tree spawned, and the Thanatos take you.
Then, what Ritzia said to us in the forest that day was...
Yes, I forced the maiden to say all that for me. But I believe the girl was thinking about something else at the time. She realized the only way to revive the great tree, which had been accumulating echoes for so many years, was to open the door once again. And in opening the door, she learned one more thing. To revive the great tree, the keeper of the seed must become one with the liberator of the echoes by piercing her through with his sword. That's why Ritzia is actually looking forward to being slain by you.
No way.
And now, it's up to you, O Keeper of the Seed. Will you help me release the echoes, or will you destroy them? And Ritzia! Made up your mind already? Well, then I'll drink a toast to the echoes with a chalice of your blood!
Yeah. I think she's full of crap.
Keldy, where are we?
This
My
is
little ones.
where Ritzia and I...
Look, Keldy.
Oh,
It's our favorite.
really now. What we're doing.
And the place where you shall die in agonizing death! I'll take that power! Time to come and play.
Go away.
I suggest you take a nice long nap here.
Don't care. We're in some kind of hallucination of the first area in the game
My little ones,
because the villain is messing with us.
you've killed your best friend and your own brother. You've killed your best friend and your own brother.
You said that already.
Come forth. Not to mention, you failed to save Ritzia and the world. Take that power!
Why are we doing this?
Come
I honestly don't know if there's something I'm supposed to be doing here, or if this just goes for a very long time before continuing to wear you down.
my little ones. I've prepared.
Yep, it just lasts for like a million minutes. I'm gonna love doing that 2 or 3 or 5 times when I lose after this point.
Be gone!
Wow. She looks horrible.
Now, Keldrick, from your very corpse, I will claim that seed.
Good. Ads are what I needed right now. Dang it. That is still not... Wait, is it? Probably temporarily. I am starting to get the feeling that if I don't kill them both in about the same time, it's one of those kind of things.
Remind me of the masked one. How he once was.
Oh,
Killed my
really?
brother, makes killing you all the more satisfying.
Have good stuff in you. Okay. A matter of phases. Oop, here we go. That's what I need. Stop pulling me away from it. I need that.
Power again.
This should help. Blood serpent. You always were. Finally caught up to me. Jerk. Stop sliding on Medusa. I think this is my best bet. Oh, run faster. It's still chasing me. What in the world? There's a honey up there. I have to run for it. All I wanted. That's so much to ask. Kind of. Let me stop. think this game would this fight would be a lot less annoying if Medusa wasn't also like very slowly sliding around everything. Basically just meaning I can't have a very stable center.
Spirit girl, you will obey me.
No way! I'm on Kelly's side, lady. Your tricks are useless.
Okay, good. Very good phase. Okay, I should only need one more, for sure. Is there any stuff around I can break and hope for items? Handy. I guess I can take that. So it's giving me about as much as I just lost. Ooh, there's some MP. Anytime you want to let me have control of my character. We're doing this again. Apparently to make up for the last phase going really well, this one's going awful. There. Don't do that. I need this to end right now. Not gonna. I'm not doing as much damage. Not that I could tell you why, just sometimes... Sometimes you don't get nearly as much damage as you're signed up for, no matter what. This happened not just in this fight, but anyway. Ugh. The spells have a pretty good variety, it's just healing is the one that I find the most value in. Anyway, I am reasonably sure, or at least hopefully sure, that that was it. How dare you chide me for taking 3 hours in there? You saw that, game. Don't give me that. Yeah, they seem to think that you would like the game enough to play it through multiple higher difficulties. No.
It's no use. I tried, but I couldn't do it.
Keldy. Keldy, let's go.
But... Faye...
Aritzia wouldn't want a world enveloped in darkness. She wants for you to make the world beautiful like it was before.
But how do I...
Follow the voice of your heart, Keldy. It'll be alright. You're not alone after all. Ritzia and I are always with you. We wouldn't let you carry this burden all by yourself.
Faye... choice!
Rip.
Ritzia. Anise. Anise. Come. Time to go home, Anise.
Grants.
Ah.
Faye. Bushu.
Ritzia.
Kelly. Kelly. Thank you.
All right, Ritzia. Time for us to go.
Ritzia.
A maiden of the tree, the seed plus a spirit, all become one. And then begins the birth of a new world. That's why.
Oh no! Don't do it! Faye!
Bushu is important. I'm gonna let the game do its thing until credits, and then I'll talk about the game. Okay, so first thing I would like to say about this game, the controls, not how they work in the game, not how the engine utilizes them, just the buttons, the layout, responsiveness and ease of access of things, actually really good. All manner of attacks are always available right on the phase buttons. You got attack, whip, and slingshot, and jump on the face. Good. That's what it needs. You have an easy way to switch between spells and types of ammo. It's the D-pad. There's no way to pause and cycle through them or anything, but that's not that huge of a deal. You have a target object and target enemy for a lock-on. Is a good idea. And you have a block and magic on L1 and R1. The 2s are the targets. Like, hey, you need to grab an object, hit that button. You need to target an enemy, hit that one. Just the idea of how the buttons are laid out and what they do is good and accessible. That's where that ends, though, because none of them work very well. Okay, the slingshot works pretty well. It's just that it's so weak there's no reason to use it unless you're using the special ammo, which you can't use the special ammo very fast because you have to, they have like a very long delay after you use it. So you just use it for the delay or affliction or burst damage with element. And then you go in and capitalize on it with attacks. The attack combo is okay. Every single attack of the combo is extremely horizontal, which means it is very hard to hit things on slopes below you, on slopes above you, on objects or platforms just above you. There is no air combo. There is an air attack, and if you hold the attack button for more than like a fraction of a second in the air, you'll follow through into a ground stab, which is very slow, takes a long time, and doesn't do a lot of damage. The targeting sucks. The thing you're targeting has to be visibly on the screen entirely, or the target will go for anything else. It's completely up in the air whether it targets the nearest thing or not. And while you're locked onto something, it's a right stick, left and right, to change targets. Right stick is normally changing the camera, but I guess they figured since you're locked on, you can't do that. However, when you're blocking, you're stuck in a strafe, and you can't turn at all. So, right stick when you're blocking allows you to tilt the camera a bit, to look around a little bit. So you think you can do that while you're locked onto something, but no, if you do that while you're locked onto something, it'll switch to a different target and get you all confused and mixed up. So that's an annoying inconsistency. The whip is terrible. It has 3 functions. You can hit the whip button again to hurl the target at whatever the game thinks it can hurl it at, regardless of any kind of logical concept of momentum or direction or anything, which tends to be helpful in easily tossing something into something else. Except it's a big no, because it will often target things that make no sense and are not what you want, and won't help if you bonk into that as opposed to bonking into something else. Even things that are completely not touchable, like the flames. Just, hey, I'm gonna hurl at this flame because that's the nearest technical object, even though there's no reason for that to be something you would throw it at. If you hold down the whip or shoot button, it instead takes you into a first-person view. You aim first-person view with the left stick, which is completely messed up because it's tilting the camera, right? So you would think you would use the camera control button, which is the right stick, but no. You aim with the left stick, which completely throws you off anytime you need to do something in first person. Not to mention, anytime you go into first person for the whip and then whip something, it takes you out of that immediately. You can't do it again. Also, anytime you're locked onto something and throw, whether you're throwing the thing that you were locked onto or not, you lose your target. Which makes it a huge pain in the butt. The actual physics are terrible. Collision with walls is really bad. Especially when you're trying to, like, climb up stuff, you'll completely lose your momentum on, like, clipping the edge of something. Won't just, you know, stop you from progressing. It'll also limit your speed once you pass the lip. And various things like that. I'm gonna get past the control stuff. We know that it all sucks by this point. The story, very, very not interesting at all.
This is the bond between humans and spirits in this world.
Speaking of,
The origin of the Mana Tree.
Time does fly by. Why, it's been thousands of years since all that happened. The sword lost, and the Mana Tree too. And now, around the power of Mana, a frightening and sinister shadow is on the move.
What are we to do?
We've got to do something. We can't just walk away here.
We have to help the Mana Warrior and the Great Tree Maiden.
Well then, any objections?
People and spirits
Shall strive together for the sake of the world.
Good. And shall we get going? Everyone's waiting.
The big, like, bad of the story, the thing that really drags it down is it goes in really hard in connecting to different games. Like, there are connections to Sword of Mana, connections to Secret of Mana, characters from SD3. It's just all over the place, and it kind of ruins the whole idea that each game in this series is like eons apart by having like the same iteration of the same characters present. Like the characters in Children of Mana, the major helper NPCs, are all the exact same implementation from that game to this game. It's possible that Children of Mana happens 10 years after this, because Children of Mana talks a lot about a cataclysm 10 years ago. I don't think they're trying to tie the stories together in this. I think they're just putting in things that are brand recognizable because they're brand recognizable. Like, you gotta have Treant and Gaia, because you gotta have Treant and Gaia, because everybody loves Treant and Gaia, right? You gotta have, you know, you gotta have Watts. Everybody loves Watts. You gotta have... and so on. A lot of the characters are literally the same characters in story bonds as they had in Sword of Mana, which makes no sense whatsoever. The masked dude you're chasing for half the game is Lord Grons, which is the preceding good guy from Sword of Mana. The guy that you're, like, practically idol to, who saved the world just before Sword of Mana's event. Medusa is the person that falls in love with Grons. And who else was just blatantly connecting those? Oh yeah, Stroud. Stroud is the Dark Lord from Sword of Mana. But they have no actual connection. Like, they have the same personality and roles between each other, but there's no way that this Stroud and Grons and Medusa and such can be the same one as in that continuity. So it's just they aren't even trying to sustain any kind of canon. They're just putting in, you know, recognizable names and characters. Also, there was no Watts, there was no etc. in Sword of Mana. So the things they're tying in from some games and the things they're tying in from other games don't coincide. So it's just a mess. What else? The graphics? I think the graphics are excellent. As always, it looks really good, it sounds really good. The actual meat of the story, I couldn't synopsize the story for you in a cohesive manner. Could not tell you the entire sequence of events that happens, and I just played the game. If I took half an hour, I could cobble together the rough sequence of things that happen in a way that you would understand basically the whole plot as if you had played it yourself. But I can't just sit here and recap it for you easily. And it just happened. Yeah, I'll save the game. I'm not going to come back and do any of the content beyond what I've done, but I'll save it.